Welcome, part 3 of our part 4 of our Switchwire build. Yeah, last time we did a lot of stuff. It looks slowly like a printer, so we have like all the enclosure on it for the electronics and everything. And today I want to focus a little bit on the gantry and well, like not on the gantry, but on the XZ axis, like the entire belt system basically. And I think we also need to add the bed. I'm not quite sure what is smartest to start with, but I think if we start with the bed and the cable chain to the bed, that would be most likely best. Yeah, I also did something to the old axis of the ender. For the Switchwire conversion, basically you have to cut off, I don't even know what it is, like a couple of centimeters, 3 centimeters or something. Because the x-axis is mounted a little bit differently, of course. So it took like a small metal saw and cut it off, and it doesn't look too bad actually. Like, I mean, you see it's cut by hand. Ah, that's actually cut side. You see it's cut by hand, but it's not too terrible. It's quite straight, but the beautiful thing is like the way it's mounted later in the printer. Like it's not super important that the ends are square or flush. Like should be somewhat, but you're mounting it like from basically this way. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much the state of affairs. What I also did is I rebuilt the bottom part a little bit. I basically took it apart again and like assembled it again, more or less. The reason was that like it was just not square and wasn't lining up properly. And the root cause what I figured out was that the Y extrusion here, if I tighten it fully to the ender frame, it's leaning forward side. So like this end, like the front end is lower by like 2-3 millimeters than the back. And it basically caused everything in the front to be skewed. And the way this grill basically works here is like it's the essential part of the frame, more or less, because like it's mounting to the y-axis back and front. So if the y-axis, like, because we fixed the y-axis before we installed the frame, or like the grills, basically everything was out of whack. So basically what it is, like I loosened the y-axis extrusion a bit, installed the grills, and then tightened the y-axis extrusion again. And then now everything is somewhat straight. I think it's like tolerable. Like, I mean, like this is all plastic, so this will never be 100% like straight and everything. But that's okay. Like, there's not too much play here in the panels anymore, and it's all nice and well. What I also did, flipped it over, but you can see I added the bottom panel, which actually is transparent. It was kind of like a mistake. Like I ordered acrylic glass, but my idea, or like I wanted to order black acrylic glass, but it ended up being transparent. But I think that's actually not the worst thing that happened. The reason is that my idea is basically to have LEDs on the Voron logos on the side and add like Voron logo on front basically. But then basically this like bags now to have like some sort of like underglow from LEDs. So I think I'll just like add LED strips to the side here, inside. So basically the entire like panel will act as a little bit like as a diffuser. I'll obviously take off the protection film. But then like one idea I had was maybe to like paint it black from the bottom side so that the LEDs shine in. Then on the side, basically you have this like strip of transparent acrylic glass that basically this like just like is illuminated from the LEDs, but not the bottom part itself. Also like idea, instead of the underglow. Many things to try out, but let's get it printing. Hi, Ballistic Tech. Let's get it printing first, and then do some LEDs. Cool. So that's kind of like where we are at the moment. And I guess the best thing to do first would be the drag chain, the cable chain for the belt, for the beds. We have to figure out how to mount that, and then we also have to figure out which cable chain it is, because I have 3. I'm not quite sure which one is meant to go where. So most likely we have to count the chain links in the Fusion. So we have like, we show that. So we have 3 basically. One is super long. I'm pretty sure this one goes on Z. But the 2 shorter ones, I'm not 100% certain which one goes where, because yeah, I mean, it's almost the same length. They have different orientations though. Like this one bends that way, like with the flat side here, and this one bends that way. Wait, is it the same? Yeah, it's the same. I just didn't orient it the same. Okay, so we need to figure out whether the short one goes on the bed or the medium one. And then for mounting, like we have this little, you see poking out here, yellow block basically installed. That basically is one end of the cable chain, and then we need to figure out what goes here, where we mount it to. Let's see. So I guess before we build anything, let's quickly check out Fusion to get an idea what we have to do. Okay, so let's start. With the chain. Find. Okay, this is a 10x. I'm not sure if the component name tells me the. Oh, it's just a link, but we. Oh, sorry. Okay, so basically every link here you can see it. I can select individually. So. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ah, they are kind of duplicates there. Oh, it doesn't. Are they? No, they're not. They're just not sorted. Okay, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 links. I would guess that would be the medium-sized one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ha! So it's the medium length one. That means the short one goes on the x-axis basically. Okay, so this goes then basically in here, something like that. Then as the bed moves back, basically this moves back and forth. Then let's see how this mounts. There must be something here exactly. So there's this part that bolts directly into the extrusion, and yeah, important. There needs to be like some gap between the deck panel and the chain, of course. Okay, so that's clear. Then how's the bed mounted? Oh, that's interesting. So they have those spacers here, which is it's just called spacer. But I think I've seen those as aluminum parts. I think I've seen them as aluminum parts. I was wondering where they would go. Let's quickly check. Oh yeah, they're right here. So these are the ones I meant. It's just like an aluminum cylinder. But I'm not quite sure. Because like those are the screws that came from the bed originally. And they don't fit here. So either they want us to use different screws for the bed, or these spacers are not the spacers I think they are. Let's quickly check again. So the screw is M3.5. What I have here is definitely an M4. Yeah, it's M4. Maybe it's 3.9. It's definitely not an M3. But it's more, I would say it's M4, I guess. It's a bit weird that it's not 4. Yeah, let's assume it's M4. So those bases are definitely not what we need. I do have those, which are those silicone spacers. They are higher though than what they have in Fusion. Let me get them out. Like the smallest bag they could have fit them in. So these are just like silicone blocks basically. So that's what I would use to space the bed. So basically instead of springs, we have those blocks. If you buy them, pay attention, they're like different, like these are all the same height, but many kits have one shorter one. So you get like 3 same size and one shorter one because of the cable strain the Ender comes with originally. So yeah, and then basically we have those like X nuts from the bottom, which is a printed part. I have that here. So these go basically are the some screws. Okay. Then let's collect all the parts we need. Then I would say let's mount the bed first. And after we have the bed mounted, let's put the cables of the bed in the chain. And then let's mount the chain. I think that's the best approach. These are the ones that you can open. So that should help. Okay, so for parts, we of course need the bed, which is here. My very DIY leveled bed. That also means I will keep the cord for now. So we have to get off the old cable strain. And here for now, we need 4 more M5 nuts, which we need to salvage. The question would be, look at the nuts. I wonder whether it would make sense, because these are like standard nuts that are used in the Ender parts. I do have M5 nuts, M5 lock nuts. Maybe it makes sense to use lock nuts there, that the bed doesn't change on its own. So maybe that's a smart choice to use those. I think we go for that. If they fit in the wheel, which I think they should, they don't. They don't. That does not fit in here. See, if we have like the Ender nuts, do those fit? If yes, I would just use the Ender nut. Just quickly get one of them off. Oh, these are also lock nuts. Yeah, they are also lock nuts. There's a nylon strip inside. And they are smaller than mine, but they still don't fit the printed part. Oh wait, that's also M5, but yeah, ignore me. We need M4 for the bed, right? It's M4, not M5. Let me quickly put it back on here. So we need M4 nuts. Do I have? I don't think I have M4 nuts in my spare stuff. So let's quickly check if we have some. We do. Oh, and they fit. Oh, wonder. Okay, so let's grab 4 of those. And the lock nuts go back. And we could also quickly check if the fastener kit I got comes with any M4 nuts. I can't recall seeing any. And in fact, there are none. So that's missing from the fastener kit. It's like small little things that are like missing from the fastener kit. So it's definitely not complete, but I kind of expected that already. So I already assumed that I will need some extra hardware. I was pokering on having everything at hand that I need. Okay, so these are then the things we need. I guess then we can... Technically, you can also directly like just use nuts, right? It's not like with the silicone, like you can adjust it a bit, I think, but it's not really like super adjustable like the springs. See. Let's quickly get the wire drain relief off. And then we also need to remove the braided cable wrap. I don't know what it's called. This looks like, yeah, exactly. It's just tape. Very sticky tape. Very sticky tape. Ugh. I'll have that on my hands. Okay, that's one part. Kind of considering leaving that just on. I think the important part is this one here. Off. Oh, there's the cable tie. Okay. Well, here we go. So, I think they have like shrink wrap here, but it's only to keep the cables together. I wonder whether we should take it off, but I think we can leave it on for now. And now I discover a problem. So basically, because I have this like fork on the bottom, the cutouts of the cork are only meant for the springs and not for the silicone blocks. But I want to use the silicone blocks. Taking this off will be really messy, but I guess there's no way around that. I should have ordered the new bat. I was like very close to just ordering like a new bat. They're like not super expensive. Right now I regret it. I might still do so later, I think. I don't have the spatula here. Ah, too bad. It's not super stuck down in the middle, I think. Yeah, it kind of is. Oh, this will be messy. I mean, what you could also do is maybe, I mean, I don't want to cut on that. Which bed? It's just stock ender replacement? Yeah, exactly. Like the stock ender 3 Pro bed costs like, yeah, 20 euros. $20, I guess it's the same. It's pretty cheap. And this one is quite terrible. Like it was super warped. I basically sand it down the sides and it's still lower in the middle. Still, like after sanding down left and right, it's still lower in the middle. Like, yeah, it's really shitty bad. But I mean, it's easy to replace with the Switchwire. Let me just like not cut too deep, but just cut around the holes. But yeah, I think right now I just decided that this bed will be replaced. The decision was just made. So I think we just installed now as a temporary placeholder, knowing that at some point this goes out. And some point being next week, most likely. This is really messy. I'm not sure if you see it, but there's like little bits of pork all over the place. I was also looking for like upgraded beds for the Ender, but they're not really a lot of options. Like that you have like a aftermarket bed for the Ender. That seemingly is not really like a thing people want. There's one company in the US that offers something. When I checked shipping, it's quite expensive. And that's also like what they do is like basically it's thicker, way thicker bed. So this is like, I don't know, like 3mm aluminum. And theirs is like quite chunky, which is better as a bed, of course. But then I'm a bit concerned regarding the weight because it's still a bed slinger. On the other hand, I use the glass plate. Yeah, I quickly have to get a vacuum cleaner, otherwise this is like flying all over the place. I don't have anything to put it in. Okay, give me 30 seconds to quickly clean up the mess. Otherwise we'll have like cork in every corner of the printer. 1 second. Oh, sorry, I meant to mute the mic, but I didn't mute the mic. Too bad. Okay, sorry, I hope it wasn't too loud. Now we are clean up. Cool. Then let's get back to this. And then we need the screws, right? Which are those four. I can't remember, did we have problems with one of those? I kind of feel like I remember that one of them was like stripped, but they all look very good, so let's keep them. Like they are Phillips head screws, which meh, but I don't have any M4 at the moment that are hex or torques, so I'm not sure if they are like supposed to go, like they have one side has this little, I mean it's quite dark, but one side has this little like indentation, like cavity more. Not sure if you can see that, like one side is a cavity and one side doesn't. I'm not quite sure which side is supposed to go where, but I'll just put the cavity towards the top. Let's maybe put the cable in the chain first. Well, we can freely move the bed. Wait. Oh, stupid me. I was putting on the wrong side of the latch. Hi, Steven. I would think as long as they are all face the same direction, it wouldn't matter a lot. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think as well. As long as you are consistent. My assumption is that like the cavity is basically just that you have less material on one side so that you can squeeze the silicone together a bit and that you can adjust the bed trim. That would be my assumption what this is for. That's just like easier to squeeze them like a little bit. But they're like supposed to be just stiffer than springs. And my idea here, like having now the two linear rails, is that's just, you don't really need to adjust it anyways. Like, or you shouldn't need to adjust it. So I'll just fix them. Actually, like, technically you could just like directly bolt it to the base. I think like if you check the Fusion, they have those spacers which look like aluminum spacers. So they have, like the Enderwire Fusion has 0 adjustment built in basically. Let's close one. Okay. Like compared to the V0 cable chains, these are so comfortable. Like A, you can open them, but also there's so much space inside. Okay. Let's park that below and cavity to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. I think if I hit all the holes, that's it. Yeah, similar to what Prusa uses on the MK3 beds. Yeah, exactly. I think that I mean I never had a Prusa in my hands, but they also have like no adjustment, right? Like the Prusa MK3 are just bolted to the linear to the rods basically. I'm quickly adding the screws from the bottom. Like those screws are quite long now. So potentially I'll replace them after all. Potentially M3 would also be fine. Okay, 2 more. Sorry, you're not really having a good angle on what I'm doing here. It's a bit difficult to show under the bed. I guess we could actually maybe just put it to the side. Then I also see what I'm doing. It's like win-win. Yeah. And instantly this one doesn't work. Maybe we did have issues with one screw. My memory served me right. Don't think I have Phillips. No, we have small Phillips bits. Let's see. Here we go. Seemingly like this screw has a little bit of like damage on the threads on the bottom. Now the question is, how much do we tighten that? Because like the bed moves down quite a bit. Let's see. Oh. Ah. Let's not put the printer on the mouse. I think that's a good idea. Let's do the following. I mean, it doesn't really matter as much, to be honest, because later, like, we will trim the x-axis will be trimmed to the bed, right? So if the bed is like skewed to one side, as long as the axis is in the same way, it should be fine. So I think it's not even that important how the bed is basically like from left, right, back, forward. I mean, in the end, we have BLTouch on it, so it shouldn't matter at all. As long as the screws don't interfere with the y-axis cable chain, you're good. Oh, actually, that's a good point. Let's check that in a second. I mean, they're not sticking out like a tremendous amount. Yeah, that's fine. Like there's definitely, yeah, a couple of millimeters. I think it's fine. I mean, we can mount it now and find out. So this needs to go in like this. And then this bends basically back. Let's mount the chain here, and then a lot of things will align. almost one in. Yeah, it's definitely easier to put the cables in first and then mount it. I don't want to fiddle the cables through there while it's under the bed. The bed cables are quite short though. So that's something we will need to solve. We will need to extend them a bit. Okay, I'm just holding this now like in place preliminarily here. It seems kind of, yeah. Clears it by like 2 millimeters or something. So I think this will not be the final like bed setup. I think I will replace the entire bed. That's one thing. But then also, I mean, technically I could quickly check what I have, but I don't have as many M4 screws. Oh, I do have 4 M4 by 25, which are shorter. I mean, like I have exactly 4, so maybe that's just a sign that we should use them. If I get it off. We have 4, so let's quickly swap them out. And then they're like 5 millimeters shorter, which is pretty much exactly the length we need here. Worst case, you could shave off 1 millimeter. I also have a cutter for M3, 4, and 5, I think. Or M2, 3, 4. Yeah, but I definitely have a cutter for M4, so I could also cut off. Yeah, see, this one is better compared to that one. Like, I have a random bit laying around that fits perfectly. Nice. Yeah, see, that's way better. Funny that I have exactly 4, or lucky, I guess. This one is the one. Has a bit of issues. Now it's also a little bit easier to like judge how far you tighten them, because there's just like a little knob sticking out. So you can make sure we tighten it like somewhat evenly on all sides. Ah, there's the cork. Wait, 1 second. I will have cork everywhere. Hi, Ironic. Better lucky than good. Yeah, well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. I mean, usually the golden rule is you have everything that you don't need, and you have exactly what you don't have what you need. So, I guess once in my life, I have what I need. One more. Whoop. Okay, perfect. And then these 4 go in the Ender recycling bag box. Yeah, we also need to clean it a little bit better. Like there's still like some residue. Oh, but I want to. Interesting. I mean, like on the. Did it do something wrong? No, the cables come out this side. Because like on the Ender, like maybe I misremember that, but like those sanded areas were left and right. Pretty sure they were left and right. I'm building with 0.2 for my daughter, LDO. Only thing missing is Pi and comes on Sunday. Stop on the frame until it's... Okay, woke up. Well, I have built the exact same like a couple of weeks ago. It was a really cool build and it's a really nice machine. Actually, all the parts for this Switchwire are coming from the 0.2. The only exception are those yellow parts on the side because they were too large. They were printed on the Ender before I took it apart. The rest is all on the Switch on the V0. So, speaking of parts, we also need to quickly check. I think this is the part we need to mount the chain against the frame. Let's quickly check Fusion what the orientation is on that. Steven, which frame color did you choose for the LEO? I went with the boring space gray. I have a very standard Voron build. It's black and red and space gray. Okay, yeah, it's exactly like how we have it on the bed now. That's orientation. And then fastener wise, what do we have in here? That is an M5 by 10. And that's exactly the screw, like, I don't think they gave us enough of those. Oh, there's one M5 by 10. There's one in here. Like, if you take apart the Ender, you get like a lot of those like button heads M5s, but it's by far not enough because there's like so many being used for the grills and everything. It's definitely missing from the fastener kits. Okay, that's good. And then we also need one of those slide-in nuts, basically. Oh, put that in here. Then we need to see how to align that height-wise. Like this should be straight, of course. Looks good. Silver frame, lime green primary. Oh, this is cool. I really like green. Actually, like if I would build a third printer, like I now have the black and red. This one is black and yellow or black and orange. I think my third one would be green, but I need more space for that first. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, right? Like because now we have to kind of fix that height-wise first before we can, or like after we attach, we can't change the height anymore. So let me quickly take a look from the front. So it's like somewhat straight. Let's give this height a try. Yeah, those cables are really short. So I think like I watched Steve's Enderwire conversion, and he had Wago terminals directly under the bed or like under the deck. I think we have to do the exact same thing. Kind of the only way to do it. Yes, this part does use heated inserts. You're absolutely correct. I kind of jumped the gun here. We should have put the heated inserts in first. That would be an amazing idea. The only problem is, coming back to the fastener kit I got, we ran out of heated inserts. So we need to steal some heated inserts from somewhere else. These are the fasteners for the stealth burn tool head. So I will steal them from here. I also still have my trusty LDO 0.2 fastener kit that also has a couple left, but also not that many. So I think I should order some spares. Let's see. So let's quickly push them in. Like the grills and the yeah, it's like extension part in the front here and the grills in front, they used so many heated inserts. It was really insane. But I'd say, like, while we do heated inserts, I'm looking right now at the chain mount for the Z-axis, and also there we will need some heated inserts. So I think it's smart, it's right here, to do those right away as well. Then we can't forget them next time. That just goes. Goes here in the back. So basically the cable chain for the Z-axis will end up here. So let's try that again. Okay, and then I have some screws here. Yeah, it barely reaches. Like, we need to figure out if we can like cheat a bit there, because otherwise we will have to extend the cables before we put them in the chain. Okay. Oh, sorry. Not having a really good view of that. So I think it's somewhat great. Can show you that perfectly from top. Like it's sagging a little bit, but it's also, we need the third screw here in front. Then it's more stable. We're missing one screw here. But I think like from the orientation or from the height, it's quite good. I wonder, like I think the screws are too long, because I tighten them quite well. Like, these are M3/8. Which is kind of like the normal. Oh yeah, that's definitely different screw. Let's see, that's an M3/6 flathead. Yeah, okay, let's quickly search for M3/6 flathead. So and 4/6. Ah, here. Yeah, and 3/6 flathead. That's what we need. So after 0.2 is build Prusa MK3 Plus, Prusa Mini 2.4, Retrograde Core 3.1, and Minion. You have a lot of printers. I don't have the space for so many printers here. I have one tray here. Okay. Oh, then let's quickly replace the screws. Yeah, a lot of printers. Okay, I kind of have to fish those M8 screws out there. Oh. Oh no, I lost I lost the screw in the cable chain. Wait, I think what I need are tweezers, but I don't have any tweezers. Give me 1 second, I'm right back. That should help to get those screws in. I mean, also orient it differently. Let me just, move that this way. No, no, it's even less. Needs to be that way. VCore is a 400, Voron 2.4 is 350. I really would love to have like a big printer like that, because sometimes it's just, I mean, like, it's not often that I would print something that would need a 350 or 400, but it's nice to have the capability to do so. Yeah. Or wonder if you use the right screws, it's working. Okay, let me get the other two out. So what I learned from having the 0.2 is, nope, I think I lost the screw somewhere. Okay. Oh, there it is. What I learned from having the 0.2 is that, like, almost everything I print fits on the 0.2. It's like really only a few parts that don't fit. And I mean, the 0 is super tiny, of course, but it's really like a majority of what I do fits on there. Here for the Switchwire, there were basically 4 parts that would not fit on the V0. I mean, like, yeah, then yeah, you need a bigger printer. But it's like, if I check like how many parts don't fit on the Ender size pad, it's like, or like 250-ish, right? Like this is like 235. It's really rare to print something that is like that big. But it happened before, and then I had to like split it in separate parts, and it was like super, super messy. So yeah. I'm kind of like, if I would have more space here, I would love to have like a 300. I think that would be like a really good size to have. I mean, I could also have made my life a bit easier and loosened the cable chain on one side, or removed it on the side. Okay. Yeah, but now this is properly fastened. But now we also see that this needs to go down, definitely. Size relative, most models are small. Yes, that's kind of what I meant. Like a lot of things are small, or like even if you print something big, like the Switchwire in this case, like the end result is big, but the individual parts usually are also small. Get that out. If I would have removed those 2 screws before fiddling in the other 3, it would have made my life much easier. Yes. Just moving that down. I think it's like almost touching the deck, the deck now. Not quite, but almost. And it's also true, like if you have like a big printer, you obviously can print bigger plates, but like the more parts you print, like the higher the risk is one of them fails. Although like for the V0, I have relatively small failure rate. Like if the first layer worked out, if the first layer is good, then it's usually okay. I had a couple of clogged nozzles, which then would be exactly that case, right? Like if you have like a full plate and everything's like printed 50% and then your nozzle clogs, then it's just like a much bigger loss in a certain sense. I like not in a certain sense, right? Like you lose way more material and also time. No, this doesn't want to go in. Figure it out. Wonder why this one has no problems. Weird. Like it is straight. I see. Yeah, there's a bit of it's only this one. The others are going in fine. I wonder whether this will work. Like it's really short. Okay, let's check out the chain first, but I think we will have to do something with that cable. That is not working. So I think the chain is fine. Like it doesn't touch the bed. Or like I keep saying bed, but I mean the deck. You have to mount your Wago connectors on top. Yeah, but I don't want to have the Wago connectors on top. So if I have to have the Wago connectors on top, then it will go here, like on the bad side. That would be then my solution to that. Like, I don't put the Wago connectors back here on top of the deck panel. That would look weird. Then basically my solution would be to replace this part here. The yellow anchor for the cable chain. Then I would replace that with a part that has two Wago slots here. And then basically shortening those two cables and just putting them into the Wago terminals here, and then having like a new cable run through the cable chain with the proper length. That would be then, I think, the best solution. Okay, we don't have to connect the bed right now, which is good. I mean, like also here, like this is now, I don't really like to have it like this. I mean, yes, it's anchored then here, but still, like, I'd rather have it a little bit like more in a nicer angle here. Okay, let's do the following. Let's pause the bed for now. I mean, like, this is installed for now. I will order a new bed. That's step one. I will replace this bed, and we don't have this like weird jerk on the bottom and everything. And then we will design this yellow part, the anchor for the cable chain with the Wago terminals. Then I'm also considering like shortening this cable here, that we do the same thing there, that we like have this only like it's a very short cable, plug it in here, and then basically have a second cable run through the rest of the printer. And I think that's like a very clean solution. I mean, you won't even see it technically because it's like under the bed. Yeah, that should be doable. There's enough space. Now we do it like that. I will make turning this knob a little bit harder, but fine. Okay. Then let's accept that we can't solve this. But yeah, this like, I mean, what it could also do technically, there are Wago, I mean, you could solder it. That would be one thing you could do. I don't want to, but you could technically solder that. Like, if you would put a cable tie here and then solder them after, it should be fine. But like soldering such thick wires is a bit iffy for me. So I think that really the best solution is to have the Wago terminals under the bed. I mean, this one would need to extend because this doesn't run through like to the correct spot on the main board. But like, I mean, for me, the important part is like this works, the motion works, and looks good. But they have to be sliced in instances. Oh, I missed. Only saves the extrude part function. Then if one part of the bed fails, I can cancel. Yeah, you can cancel the one part, of course, but then you also have to keep track of it, right? So basically, if you wouldn't observe your print constantly, and you have like, let's say, like 20 parts on the plate, and like one fails and like is knocked off and is loose, like by the time, it's my experience, by the time you realize that it's like knocked off, the damage is done in a certain sense. Because then you have like stringing happening on the other parts and everything. So yeah, technically you can cancel it then, but then you also have to observe your print. Okay, cool. And let's pause that. Let's look at the XZ. But yeah, I like how it moves. I'm very happy. Like the movement of the bed is very like smooth and consistent. There's no like binding whatsoever. Like compared to the V rollers, night and day. Okay. Yes, bit bugged out by that. Wants to install it. But you know what? Then like if we do a custom cable run here, we also won't have this like weird white cable poking through here. Then we can have like a nice black cable. Okay, let's quickly do a round of fusion. Could you take a link out? You mean of the cable chain? No. No. Like this is like the frontmost position now. And let me give it extra light here. I mean, you would get away with one less, I guess. Like the first one is not bent. You could, maybe. But then what do you gain? Like a centimeter? It still would be like super hard to put the Vagos under the deck. I think like replacing the yellow part here is the nicest solution, because then you see like how much, I mean, you don't see, but I can show you, like how much cable is like slacking there. I mean, I'd rather have like where the mount is here, like the Wago terminals somewhere here on top. Then you have like a clean run from there to there, and then like a clean run there. I really prefer that. It's a bit more work, of course, because we have to design a part, but it should be not too difficult, I guess. So, fusion. We wanted to check out fusion. Let's see. So what do we need to make this happen? So I guess first we need to, before we do the belts and everything, we need to physically mount the X-beam, or like yeah. So we need to put on the 2 linear rails. And then there are those blocks here. And this block mounts then to the extrusion. How does it mount? I mean, these are the end blocks. We don't need them now. So there are screws. Oh, the screws go basically from one side to the other, completely through the block. And these are M5 by 40s, those two. And these are M3 by 30, and they go basically into the linear rail then. And what this is doing, I'm not quite... What is this doing here? This part here. I'm not quite sure what this is doing. Oh, that's the keyback mount. Okay, that's for the keyback. They didn't model the cord. So there's basically this keyback on the bottom here. And then there's a cord running over this roller here on top and then down here. And this basically holds up the axis or the gantry. Okay, let's do that. So 2 linear rails, and then we mount the X-beam, and then we do the keyback. I think that's a good way of doing things. The deck panels. I did buy the deck panels, but they were quite pricey. So I only have the deck panels, and I have... Yeah. I have this bottom panel. These are the 3 panels I have, and the 3 panels cost me 65 euros. So it was quite expensive for 3 panels, but I think it's worth it. I mean, now if I would do this again, as of like 2 weeks ago, there's like the Seaboard kit with all the parts you need, and that includes the entire enclosure. So not only the 2 panels, but the entire enclosure. So I would just go for the Seaboard kit, I guess, to be honest. Because like it's cheaper than what I put together here, and you get more. So it's kind of like a no-brainer at that point. Yes, so let me try to get you a little bit like overview. And let's put a axis. I have two linear rails labeled Z. Let's see, maybe I can even oops, a little bit more like that. Maybe that works. And then we need a lot of M3 by 8s. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's for one side. And I really hope these are not the last M3 by 8s we have. Yes, we have a problem. Let me quickly check if these are the last. Let's see. So we have an empty bag. That's always handy. Oh, these are the ones we need. Let me put them out already. These are the ones we need for the blocks connecting the linear rails with the gantry. I'm still wondering what we need M5 by 64. We have more of those. That is good. But yes. These are the last M3 by 8s we have, which is not ideal. Not ideal. Okay, how many do we have? So we have 7. We do have 7. Which is not a lot. That's 5, 6. Okay, so these are in. Let's see. Okay, so I see I have to get more M3 by 8s and I have to get more heated inserts. These are M3 by 8s coming from the self burner. Are the M3 by 8 from what you took apart? No, they are coming from the fastener kit I got. There might be... I didn't see any M3 by 8 socket head when taking apart the Ender. Like, I can't recall that they are used anywhere. So they are all from the kit, and the kit is not giving you enough stuff. Like, same with the heated inserts. These are already ones from the stealth burner fastener kit. So yeah, I'm not really impressed with the fastener kit that I got. Let me just double check that I'm using the right screw here, but like the other linear rails all used those, so I'm fairly certain. Let me see. Let me quickly check. Yeah, M3 by 8. Yeah. So it's the right screw that I'm using. See you, Steven. Thanks for dropping in. I actually off Monday, Tuesday as well. I took 2 days of vacation. So for me, it's an extended weekend. Yeah, the fastener kit is not a recommendation. I mean, it gets you a lot what you need, but then you kind of need to improvise. Okay, it should be roughly the distribution we need. Rid of this. So like those nut carriers from the V0 are definitely a big help for those linear rails. Yeah. Not really tightening that yet, but that's all there is. Chris, what do you think about the noise of your V0s? I'm very positively surprised. Like, it's not a printer that's like optimized for noise at all, and I'm a little bit like, I'm easily annoyed if there's like a lot of like noise from the printer. And I barely notice it. Like, it's there, but it's not like a very unpleasant noise. It's not super loud. The stock Ender is like 3 times, 4 times louder as the V0. That's kind of like my personal take on that. Oh, I didn't take out more of those nuts. So even when the Nevermore is running, I barely notice it. And I have it in my living room. It's I'm basically watching TV 3 meters away from the printer, and I'm not bothered by it. It's mainly fan noise, I would say. I mean, in motors, it depends a bit, right? Like, you also can like make some decisions about the motor noise. By default, the LDO profile, or like not profile, like the LDO config runs it at spread cycle. Like the steppers have 2 different operation modes, right? You have spread cycle and you have stealth job. So basically, spread cycle has more power, whereas stealth job is stealthier. Would have guessed. So this one is a lost cause. it dropped below the deck. So if the motor noise is bugging you, you always have the option to change the config to stealth job. at which point the motors are inaudible. 6, yeah. So that's always the option you have. Just run the motors in stealth drop. You will lose like performance, meaning instead of like 200 millimeters per second, maybe you only print at 150 millimeters per second. But from my experience so far with the LDO kit, for me the limiting factor is the hot end flow rate and not the motors. So I think you can most likely run the motors in stealth drop with the Revo hot end and not run into problems. Wait, do those screws fit? They do, okay. So I'm really positively surprised. Like the Nevermore, I think I limited the fans to like 80%. I have the Nevermore V5. It wasn't quite in. V5 Duo, I think. So it has 2 fans. I limited the fans per software to 80%. Here we go. And yeah, you barely hear the fans either. Like I can only speak for the fans that come with the LDO kit, of course, but those are quite good, I would say. Yeah, this one doesn't also say. Okay. Let's do the bottom one first, which I hate it. Let's take another one for the bottom position. See, this one stays nicely in place. Let's get this out. So yeah, to just round it up, but I would give the noise on the V0, I would not be concerned with the LDO kit. That's kind of like what I have to judge. Because then of course like it depends a lot if you get different fans. That's actually following and just fix the block up here. Wait. So this goes here. Okay. I can't use those that like slide down in here. Because I was thinking that I could do the external cooling with some 120mm blower fans at like 30-50% and not use the two LED fans, which will probably have more cooling and have less knob. I mean, if you are willing to do that, there's always an option, right? If that is like something you would consider doing for having... Oh, come on. If you are willing to have the external fans, there's always an option, but I would be not too concerned about the noise levels of the actual inbuilt fans. So just like if you want to get a V0 and noise is a concern. Okay, how about we just put it to the side. And those things can slide around like crazy. Okay, so you go here. You go here, you go here. And you go here. Okay. Not sure why I didn't do that before. So, let's see if this one aligns. It does. I'm kind of worried about the noise because I'm in small dorm from the school and don't really want my roommate in my... Okay, yeah, this is fair. I mean, like, I wouldn't print overnight, I guess. That would be like one thing. But if you're like, I mean, motor noise, don't be concerned. Motor noise, worst case, you have to make small compromise with the speed. But then even like with the compromise, I think you're still like having a very fast printer. Like again, like I actually accidentally ran mine with Stealth Shop enabled for some time, and I didn't even notice. And even like with thread cycle, like the motors are not super loud. So that I wouldn't be too concerned. And then fans, like if you're willing to have the external fans, you know, like then that's always like an option to do if you see the need. Okay, yeah, you can still slide around. Cool. Then we have the linear rails on. Let's quickly put all the... You also don't have too many of those left. Like these are a bigger problem to get for me, I guess. If it's just heated inserts and screws, that should be no biggie. I'm fine with noise because I have two extremely loud enders. Yeah, okay, fair. I mean, again, like the end, like if you didn't like do something regarding the noise of your enders, they're significantly louder than the V0. That's what I can tell you. So let's quickly see how are the linear rails positioned. Oh, they have this end block on top. Okay. And then basically I just slid all the way to the top. Okay, cool. Let's search the part we need there. See, so that's the rail. That's those tool heads. That's labeled XZ. So I guess it would be in there. Alright, here's one. And there's the other. And then here's one of those blocks we need, and this is the other block. But I remember I printed them in different variations and something wasn't right. Yeah, these are all the blocks I have. So let's compare those two. One of the two we don't need. But they are the identical. Ah, here, that's the difference. This one has the wrong cable chain mount, so this one can go. So these are the parts we need. And with those parts, we should be able to mount the gantry. So that goes in like this, and then there needs to be like another M3 by 8. I assume. Check. Yeah, it looks like a good length. So let's put this on. Okay, and then we can, I guess, slide this entire contraption all to the top. And regarding like let's tighten the top one. Semi, so we can still like align the, I'm not sure you can see that, but like I can still align the linear rail. So it's only the top one is fixed. And then let's put on the X-beam basically. And then after that is done, let's try to align the linear rails. Oh, also here, those go in. Goes all the way to the top. Cool. And then I guess we can work on the blocks here. The block with the cable chain mount goes to this side here. So this one is the one without. And this goes on in this orientation. So you have the long screws from the back. We need 2 heated inserts here. And we need 3 heated inserts here. So we should do that before we attempt to mount them. Five heated inserts in total. And those heated inserts are all from the stealth burner kit. So we are basically in debt with our heated inserts already. A little tiny bit more. And then the 3 for the cable chain. Oh. Hi John. What temp do we have? What temp do you have for the insert? I'm using 246 at the moment. It's a tiny bit hotter, like usually for ABS I have like 230-ish. But the yellow parts on the printer are PLA actually. Don't tell anyone. And for the PLA, I found like I need a bit more heat because like it's really hard to push the heated inserts into the PLA. So yeah, 230, 240, but like the measurement, I wouldn't trust the measurement of soldering iron. So if you have different soldering iron, just try it out because I don't think it's super precise. In the end, what you want, like you want to push a little bit and like it shouldn't like just slide through, but you shouldn't need to push like a madman. The golden middle, as always. You want control, but not too much force. So, I think if I remember correctly, these are M3 by 40, M3 by 30. Let's see, this is a pack of M3 by 30. Yeah, that looks like a good fit. So M3 by 30 it is. We need 8. Okay, let's mount that. Success. I still leave it a little bit loose. Oh, that was not a success. Definitely not a success. Why does it not want to go in? Yeah, no it does. Perfect. Cool, so the linear rail is still loose. The block is semi-loose as well. And now we can put our X-beam there. Let's see. I got to mount those on the Z-rails yesterday. I still need to cut the X extrusion. Yeah, I did. This one is cut. I'm actually really proud of the cut. Yeah, this one is the side that I cut. Like it's straight. I'm very proud of that. So that's the cut off piece. I just taped like with painter's tape on top, marked it, and then actually what I did is I used I have this like machinist square. I just put it again, like on it and used it as a guide to cut straight because I used like a handsaw. So that's basically. Oh, and what I also did is like I used like black marker to like kind of like paint out the aluminium parts here a bit just to hide it. But I think what I would do is like to have those like drill holes or holes just vertical, that you have like the clean front. I think that makes the most sense. We just put it on like this. And we just put it like this. And then you have it looking nice from the front. So then we need, I guess, 4 of those nuts. Let's put the thick parts to the outside. Just to make sure. So I guess I mean like, it doesn't really matter. We can adjust the position. And these are the 5x40. Okay, I was going to just use a chop saw, but it looks good. I mean, like I just use like, I don't have it, but like, just like one of those like super simple metal saws, like nothing fancy. Like if you have like anything more specific for that, I would use it. But just saying, it doesn't need to be anything super advanced. Let's do this from here. Oh, that's why it doesn't work. I need a bigger Allen wrench. Okay, that's number one. Let me make number two work. Number two also works. So. Let's see. That kind of aligns. Also somewhat aligns. Okay, that works. Let's see if we get like the last one in. Yeah, okay, perfect. All four are in. Interesting, that's like, that's fine. The linear rail on one side wasn't quite on top. Okay. Okay, so now question, how do we make sure this is in line and nice and square? I think the blocks we can just tighten directly. That should be fine. If we just tighten those. This should be fine. Okay. Now the blocks are at least secured. Give this all a little extra tiny. Okay. Cool. I mean, at least in this direction, no binding yet. So, thinking, how do we square that? I mean, we could square it against the top, I guess. Like if you move it all the way up, maybe that would not be such a bad idea. So, I mean, if we move it Here we go. You can just see. So if I move it all the way up and I move it against the stop blocks on top, and if I tighten it like this, I would assume that because we checked this frame is square, right? Then my assumption would be that this would be square as well. Let's do that. Not binding, but there's a bit more resistance in the bottom part. I mean, you also see it where it like stops falling. So there's a bit more. Let's quickly loosen one side again. So this side is now loose. Yeah, see? Now it falls directly to the bottom. So let's do the following. This side is still loose. Yeah. So basically this means the frame isn't quite square. Which is something we knew. It's an ender frame. Nothing is quite square. I mean, it's not too bad. There's no, like, when I move it up and down, there's no, like, real resistance. Like, it doesn't, so it's fine. So let's just tighten that. Yeah, it's not seizing up in any position that you have like consistent, like really like you have to push against like some resistance. By the way, I'm also like a genius. Like looking from behind, like it doesn't matter, but from the front, maybe we should center that a bit. So yeah, let's loosen it again. Let's center that. I mean, it does need to be like hyper centered for the 10th of a millimeter, but should be somewhat centered. Let's just okay. No. Also, it's interesting. Like, I mean, it makes sense, of course. But like as I like unbuilt the ender, like it got lighter and lighter, and now like it really gets back its heft. Like moving it around really gets considerably heavier. Let's see. This looks pretty centered for me. So let's quickly like tighten one screw. Not fully, but like somewhat, just to keep the left-right alignment. Move it back up. Okay. That's even better than before. Like now it's all like it's on the top block basically. There's still like 2 millimeters, but yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, cool. So now the last thing we need to do, like the rails are still not not fully tightened. So I'm just like moving it, like the top ones we already tightened here, right? Those two are tight, the topmost ones. Topmost ones are tight already. At least they were until I loosened them accidentally. Oh no! Shit. Okay, back to start. I accidentally loosened the screw and something changed. Yes, since I tightened the screw, now it's seizing up. Well. Ah, interesting. Okay, let's make sure those two are fully tightened. And then I just loosen those two again. I assume that I just pulled the linear rail like ever so slightly more towards the frame. So I just loosen them, tighten them again. Yeah, I mean now it's not falling anymore on its own weight. But again, like it doesn't. Interesting. Like what did it not change? Yeah, let's just really make sure this is loose. Press it up. Here we go. I think it's okay. Like it doesn't. I'm not quite sure what it did now, but like it's not locking up in any position. So let's quickly try what happens if we tighten the bottommost one. Ideally while it's there. So we just use basically the gantry to ensure that the linear rails are parallel. Maybe the linear rail is closer to the middle at the bottom than the top. So you might need to tighten the bottom ones. Yeah, I mean, I just tightened them. Didn't quite help. But I mean, what we can do now, like now at least we know like they are like parallel because like we use this like the gantry now is fixed in place, right? So basically we tighten it on top, we moved it down, we tightened the one on the bottom. So now we know that the linear rails are parallel. So what we can do now, we just loosen them again. Make sure to press everything up and tighten it again. But now it's getting worse because now there's like here. Now it's fine. Here's now fine. Okay, so that was not a success. Let's just try again. Yeah, don't like it. Let's try this side. Let's see, maybe if we quickly loosen the top. I mean, now it's just really trying to align everything. Yeah, something is not quite where it's supposed to be. So if I loosen this one here, it looks free. Try leaving both sides loose and tighten all the way at the bottom. Yeah, the problem is that I don't have like something on the bottom where I can really tighten to, right? I only have those like little stop blocks. On the top, I have this stop block here. So if I tighten it against the top, I know that the x-axis or like this extrusion is square with the other ones because we checked in the beginning that the top extrusion is square to the side extrusions. That's why I'm tightening against the top so that I know that this one is square. But what we also didn't consider is that there's another screw in the stop blocks. So let's try leaving this one loose. So they're loose. Just okay, I'm just pulling it again to the top. No, I did not check square with the bed because I'm not sure yet if the bed is square or not. We just put it on. The bed is not in square or anything. It's just on there. I mean, it's not bad, right? Like right now, it's not. I mean, I didn't tighten the bottom one yet. It's not bad. It's not bad. Like this would work. I'm pretty certain. Especially because it's not like a high speed axis usually. Fairly certain. And yeah, now it's like in the bottom positions, especially it's locking a little bit. So we need to fix that. I mean, like if it doesn't have to fall under its own weight. That's kind of my point. Like it doesn't need to be that smooth. Oh, we forgot a screw there actually. Yeah, there's a screw. Oh, you see exactly that. There's one screw here missing. Am I bothered enough to take it off? I don't think so. Because getting in that screw now is like a massive hassle. Let's ignore it. Let's just I didn't see that. Okay. So the thing is, just like really super basic square check. So on top we have 251. Yeah, it's a tiny bit. It's a teeny tiny bit more narrow there, but we're talking like 0. I mean, as far as I can see from scale, like it's really like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, I think. Could also be just my eye. It's should be pretty square. But yeah, like a 1/10 of a millimeter for the linear rail makes a huge difference whether it like runs smooth or not. Okay, what we can do, like if we push it up and we tighten one side and we loosen the other side, I'm fairly certain that the extrusion stays level. So if we now tighten it here on the bottom, yeah, now that doesn't make it better. Let's see, we do somewhat middle. But I wonder, because the issue, here's the thing, the issue only happens, right, if we tighten the bottom part, the bottom screw here of those two. Like if we allow those linear rails to move a little bit, this moves perfectly fine. So I don't think it's necessarily like a problem that the linear rails are like skewed like this, that they're like inward outward or something. Maybe it's just like a this problem, like that's like that they're not parallel like that. But then this should kind of be, that's the reason why we tighten it when we are down here, right? That we can line for that. And we can also try to leave the bottom one loose and yeah, tighten this one. Oh, it's actually a bit better. Like again, it's not falling on its own. Not falling on its own, but it's not binding anywhere. So maybe that's, I mean, it's, okay, so we tried loosening left, right. We tried loosening just checking if I can feel any like movement in the axis. But not really. Oh, I shouldn't be able to press it up down like that. I mean, here's the other thing, right? Like the skew of the x-axis, this will also be influenced later by the belt tension. Like the belt will pull this up and down a little bit. That is also something to consider. I mean, it's again, it's not terrible. Like there's some spots now when I move it up, sometimes it's binding a bit. But I think we now have all the screws tight actually. Yeah. Yeah. So everything is tight right now and it's kind of okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a similar resistance as the bat, to be honest. I think it's good. I'm not sure what it did now. I'm not sure what it did now. But it seems to be good, and it's still like wrecked. And on top it touches at the same time the stop blocks. I'm gonna quickly tighten the rest of the screws. See if it makes any difference. Oh, it's also nice it doesn't fall. Maybe that's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, I mean, maybe if we see problems, we can improve it. Like, it's easy to adjust, right? Like those screws are all accessible. So if we have any problems with that later on, like, it's easy to adjust. Yeah, let's leave that for now. But then I'm a little bit concerned now if we now install the key back. Most likely it's pulling it to the top. I mean, sometimes if you press in an odd way, like it's binding. Okay, let's leave that for now. And then maybe we can already install the key back and see what that does. For the key back, I actually went a bit rogue, and I do not have a key back. Because I tried to keep the price of the build a little bit lower. And the key bag was like $30/euros on its own, which I was not willing to spend. So I have this door stopper, which I found as a mod for the Switchwire. It mounts in the exact same spot. I just hope that like the tension, it's the one, they have different tension levels. The link is in the description. I ordered everything from AliExpress. But yeah, this one is like €2 compared to 30. So I wasn't quite willing to spend keyback money. So let's quickly check Fusion, how this is mounted. X-mouse. So for some reason I can't zoom in and out. Here we go. Okay, so we have this is standalone basically. I did not see this part. I can't remember seeing this part. Maybe I don't have it. But this is just a super simple bearing stack with one M5 skim and two of the bearings. I just said bearing stack and I forget the word bearing. And then one M516, which I think I also saw. And here we have this piece here. Oops. Okay. Let's see if we find the printed parts to install that. $2 is a lot better. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure if it works as well. Like, I was thinking whether there's like whether it's introducing like artifacts or something. If you like, but yeah, because it's not rolling as smoothly as a keyback or something. But yeah, like the entire I have the price also in the description what I paid for everything, but I think for everything I paid like 350 euros. So a key bag is like 10% of the entire costs of my part costs. At which point I'm like, is it worth 10% of the entire build? Let's see. Yeah, I don't recall seeing this part. This amount for the key bag. Or key bag alternative, I should say. So this goes in like this, and then goes here. But I don't see the top part. I mean, it's super quick to print, so if I don't have it printed, it's not a big loss. Ah, there it is, okay. Oh no, that's, yeah, well, that's the stealth burner. Okay. No. Nope, I don't think I have the part. Okay, then we can't install that right now. But then the other interesting part is, do I have this one? Because also that is not something I recall seeing. No, it's also not in here. Maybe I just did not print any of the keybag files in the Switchwire part list, because I was like, oh yeah, I have an alternative, and I only printed this one, but not like the actual other part. Okay, then we can't install it now. That is too bad. But yeah, it doesn't follow on its own, so not a big loss. Then what would be the next step? So, I mean, we kind of have like quite a to-do list for next time. So we have to fix up this one. We have to patch up those. So I'll just create a part for next week to John, for you, because he most likely also missed that. The cables are way too short. So I will make like a Wago mount for under the bed. So the cables from the bed will be super short, and then we have like a nice custom run to the electronics. We don't have to deal with that stuff here. Then I guess the next step would be to start with the motors and the belt system, I would assume. See. So yeah, these are the motors. Yes. I think for the motors is also something I wanted to do off stream, but then forgot. So basically how this goes together is you have the motor, which I use the Ender motors. And then you have... Are they then? Yeah, they seem to be identical. And then basically this goes on like this. And then you put the screws through. The problem is, or like what I want to do off screen is using this very professional tool here. We need to flatten one side of the shaft. Because the shaft at the moment is completely round because there was like this like pressed pulley on from the Ender. But now we have the usual pulleys with the grab screws. And I just want to make one side flat. Takes like 10 minutes of filing, so I want to do this like off stream. Like I don't think like anyone wants to see me like struggle to flatten the side of the motor. So I think what we should do, and we're also kind of like slowly approaching like the end, I guess, of the stream. How about we do the not idlers, like the bearing stacks, like the end caps here for this X-beam, and maybe even the top. Maybe we do those four, and then next time we can do the motors, the bed, and then it's kind of, yeah, the motor, like if we do it next time the motors and the belts, then basically the motion system would be complete. Since it's so maybe you can loosen the bolts at the top and push the X gantry all the way up. Then tighten the bolts at the top of the Z extensions to get a smoother X. Wait, I'm not sure if I understand it. So maybe you can loosen the bolts at the top of the Z, push the X gantry all the way up. But it's kind of what it did, right? Like, I pushed it up, I loosened it, and then I put it back. Well, pushing up, right? That's kind of what it did. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like it is smooth now. Like it's smooth. Like, I mean, yeah, sometimes there's like, for example, right now, like I have to push a bit, but usually it's smooth. I'm not, yeah. It's most likely something I'll put on like some TV show and I play around with it for like an hour and then it's fine. It was the same with the bed. Like I noticed after the stream when we put on the bed that like it's a little bit like sticky, and then you just have to play around with all the screws until like it's not. Like the bed is now really nice. Now loosen the bolts all the way at the top of the print. Oh, you mean those? That seems like a high risk move. That seems like a high risk move. Well, the thing is right now, I know that it's something somewhat in square. And I know that this part was not perfectly square. Let's do it. But I only do one side. Maybe let's do both. Let's see. I mean, the question is, right, like it's also bolted down on the bottom. So those are still stiff. Like even with this loose, maybe it's a bit smoother. Let's see. It's a bit better, right? Like it's almost falling. But again, like only on the top part. But maybe we can do now another iteration on the back screws. So if we now loosen those. That's what I meant, like in the end. Oh yeah. It's amazing, like if you loosen them. In the end, it's just like you need to loosen everything and like tighten it again and just play around. And at some point you hit the jackpot. It's I had the same with my V0 at some point, where just like didn't 1000% align. better. At least in the top section, at least. But you know what we could do? So this is still square, right? So now what we can do, we loosen it on the bottom. We tighten it at the bottom. And now we loosen it on top on one side. Move it up. And now tighten the top. So hopefully, my idea is that it's like it shifted the top a little bit. So it's closer to the same width as the bottom. Not sure if that helped. No. See, there was like another like one of those like, see now? Like now I have to pull really hard, but then like once it's over, it's smooth again. So it's not 1000% aligned. I mean, technically we could also loosen it on the bottom. We could do that. Let's try it. I mean, this frame is so much simpler than like the Core XY frames. It's quite incredible almost. There's the there's the nut we lost at some point. One, two, three. I used two of the precious M3x8 here, so I need to find something else here, because the M3x8 socket head are now a very, very rare thing. Yeah, I also have to remove this yellow part here, because it covers one of the screws. Quickly. Loosen that on this side here. Okay. And then there's like another screw. Here. Here we go. And that should be it. Now we have full access. Not sure if I will regret that, but so that's still okay. Let's quickly do it again. put it to the bottom, and then I will tighten the screws again. Let's see. Yes. So that's it, definitely. I mean, now there's a little bit of a snag on top, like here, but yeah, I never print with that high, so if it doesn't work here, I actually don't care. That's the important range for me. Let's try loosening those. Yeah, definitely. Make sure this is fine. Now we need the key back. That's the downside, right? Thank you, John, for not letting that slide. Now it's sliding. I have to clean that a little bit here. I'm not sure if you see there's like a little bit of like gap. Yeah, no, it's perfect. I mean, now the question is this like still square to the frame? I mean, I'm not sure if I really would care. No, it's not. Maybe that's the entire thing. Maybe now we loosened the wrong side. Yeah, exactly. Now neither of the two are like straight up. Maybe that was the entire issue, that one of them, that this one was straight and this one was not, and now neither of them are. But it's also maybe just like end of frame being end of frame. That this is as close as you get it. Let me think. What we can do, we loosen this again and just try to use the engineering square to force, like it's on the bottom now. I'm thinking whether we should loosen both and try to force them upright. But then the thing is, like, if I force them upright with the engineering square while tightening them, I guarantee you as soon as I remove the engineering square, it like snaps back to where it is. So I would say let's accept that we have ever slightly out of frame I mean, what would that mean for prints? Technically, the print would lean ever so slightly backward. I mean, it's not a lot. Like, it's not like. But it would mean if you print a really tall print with this printer, it would be out of whack. But then, like, I guarantee you that whoever puts, I mean, I put the ender together, but like whoever put like those, like the sections of the ender together, this frame was never as square as it is now. I would almost bet my life on that. So I would say this is like a win. Let's do the thing. Or like let's quickly put it back together, because like it's a little bit wobbly without its feet. I do need the bottom plate, by the way, because without it, the screws of the feet are too long. So that's why I have the bottom plate on all the time. Oh wait, I forgot one screw. We need this screw back in. Okay, now we can do that. This last one. Trying to not hit my MacBook with the gantry or with the frame. Let's quickly put this screw back in. Are you doing canvas for 12? No, I'm not doing canvas. Again, comes back to that thing that I wanted to keep the price of this conversion low. Like, converting an Ender to Switchwire is like questionable, questionable investment. Let's put it like this. So I really wanted, like, my aim was to keep the price low for this kit, or like not for kit, for this build. And I wanted to do canvas, but basically then the problem became that it was like 60-ish euros more because I need the CAN adapter, because the main board I'm using, or the two main boards I'm using, do not have canvas built in. So I would have needed a CAN adapter, which was like 20 euros. And then I would need the CAN toolhead board, which was like 30-ish, I think. And then was something else. It was like 56 euros, something like that. So what I went with instead was like a super simple toolhead board. We actually toolhead PCB. We actually have to solder it ourselves because I didn't like the unsoldered one was 2 euros cheaper. So I went like with the cheap one. And yeah, I have all the tools to crimp my own cables and everything, so we'll do our own cable room. And yeah, I think it's quite cool to have like single strain cables in a certain sense, more old school. I like that. But yeah, I wanted to do CAN board, but then like was just the price thing in the end. Yeah, I mean the thing is, right, like I've spent now 200 euros on a printer, like when I bought it, like 220 or something. I spent 80 or something on the hotend. Like I have a MicroSiwss hotend, which will be reused. 40-ish on the BLTouch, so it's like 340. There were like a lot of upgrades we now not keep, but still like let's say 340. And then I spent like another like 350-ish for like all the upgrade parts now. So it's like like this printer, once it's built, will be like 700 euros. And it's like, for 700 euros, it's a rather crappy printer, because you could also have sold the Ender, technically, right, for like 150. And then spend 700 on a Switchwire kit, which means like in total you would have spent like 550 or something. Problem is, A, you don't get Switchwire kits anymore, and then like if you don't have the Ender, I wouldn't build a Switchwire. That's kind of like the thing. So it's a questionable investment. I think it's a fun project, and this Ender 3 is my first printer, so I think it's nice to keep it in a certain sense. Like, you know, like it's like, yes, it's now like a Switchwire. It's no longer like an Ender technically. But still, like, this is the machine that my first, like, I didn't learn 3D printing on it. I had a printer at the office, but it was the first printer I owned, so I kind of want to keep it. And from that perspective, it's nice. Yeah, long story. Not saying that there will not be canvas ever on this printer, but not in the first iteration. I guess that's how you can sum it up. But it will have dual extrusion, right? We will have 2 M4 extruders on the side, and we will have 2 main boards. For the 2 extruders. I am using one SKR Mini E3 V2 and one SKR Mini E3 V3. Don't ask me why I have 2. I actually have a V1, V2, and V3. It's a sad story. But these are the 2 main boards we will use. The V3 is fully functional and will be the main board, and the V2 is fully functional minus the heatsink that is knocked off. And this has the fan MOSFET is broken, so this board can no longer control the the hot end fan, a part cooling fan. Sorry. Besides, this is fully functional. So this one will actually drive the 2 extruder motors. And this main board will drive the XYZ movement. And yeah, that's basically it. So 2 main boards. Because with Clipper, you can run 2 main boards. They don't even have to be the same. Like technically, I could also use the original Ender one. But yeah, that's the thing. I also... Oh. This is not very... a bad spot to grab the printer. Yep, everything is moving now. I'm not taking off the copper again, but I put the 2 DIN rails here. So this is how they will go in, basically. And then here will be the power supply, and on this side there will be another DIN rail with the Raspberry, buck converters, and a relay. So this will be like the Raspberry electronic side, this will be power supply, and then we have the 2 main boards here. I kind of like it as well. It was an accident. Like I wanted to have black acrylic glass, similar to what the LDO kits have on the back, but I ordered the wrong one, so it's transparent. But it's kind of cool that you can see through. But then the cable management needs to be superb, which of course will be the goal. But also what I'm thinking, like, especially here on the sides and here, maybe also on the front, like to have like LED strips glued in on the acrylic glass, that you have like underglow LED effect. I think that would be quite cool. And then the second thing, alternatively to that, what I thought, to spray paint the bottom black, that it's like not see-through anymore, but then have the LEDs in the same spot here on the sides. And what that would do is that on the side, the transparent part basically is visible from the side, and with the LEDs inside, this would then glow in the color of the LEDs. So I think that would be like a cool effect. So either of the 2, I'm not quite sure yet which one, but it's kind of like, first we get it printing, and then we do like a lot of LEDs and stuff. So I have some plans to make that nice. Okay, cool. Let's do the bearing stack. I kind of want to get the bearing stacks, at least for the X-beam done. Where's my mouse? Here's my mouse. Okay. So how does it work? So we have those two parts. And let me quickly hide the belts. There's this, this is where the spacer is. Okay, we talked about the spacer earlier. That's where they go. So basically it's the printed part and spacer, shim, bearing, shim. And then these are M530s. And this is then held in place by this screw here. But then this is like, let's build it first and then we can see how that is fitting together. Okay. So, oh, here's mine. So these are, wait, oh. These are the parts. Ah no, that's not the spacer we talked about, it's just inbuilt, which is also nice. That's what we need for now. So, which two? So these two seem to go together? No, they don't go together. Wait. Oh, they do go together. Yes, they do. And then like basically the bearings will be in between. Yeah. And then those two go together. And then we need M5 by 30. Which they don't give us. I see M5 by 20. That's definitely too short. We have M5 by 60, 40, 20. Maybe they want us to salvage that from... we were looking at those parts before. Yeah, this one is loose. But it's definitely longer than 30. Let me quickly double check, not that I saw something wrong. Yeah, it's also like the same screws as the Ender uses. So it's most likely something that is used on the Ender somewhere and they expect us to reuse that. Yeah, so it's not those. These are too long. Let's see. If we take a look in our like Ender parts bin. They could be a fit. Do I have a... Yeah, these are M5 by 30. Three pieces, but we need 4 in total. See, what are you? That is slightly too short, and I'm still putting it out. These are too long, is that? Ah, here, these are also 30s. Yeah. Okay. But you expect us to... What? They do expect us to recycle those. Wait, I lost the print part just now. So, that is one. Yeah, like, since I had the Ender, I always, all the mods I made to the Ender, I did in a way that it was reversible. I kept all the original parts and screws, and I really paid attention that like everything I did was reversible. Yeah, now it's not reversible anymore. I think like the cutoff point was when I cut the X-axis, like the X extrusion. There's no more coming back now. Like, I also like those like aluminum parts I will just trash at the end because there's not much I can do with them. And this printer will never come back together as an Ender 3. There was this one guy on YouTube who also made a video about like his Ender Switchwire conversion. And then like in the comments at some point he said like, oh yeah, I reverted that mod. I was thinking like, how do you revert that? I mean, maybe he had a second one where he like took spare parts from. But even like if somebody would pay me now to like revert that, I wouldn't want to do that. Like it's a lot of work to build that. And like building is like a Voron kind of makes fun. Building an Ender, maybe less fun. I'm quickly taking all of those apart because I assume that we will need the same M5 by 30 for the top idlers. So I think we will need 8 in total. Which will be interesting because I'm not sure where else there would be M5 by 30s in the Ender. Okay, so again, we said those to get put belong together. So let me quickly see where we have parts. Like these are way more important for me than the M5 screws. Because I wouldn't know where to get, like these are like not washers, they're shims. So they have like a more controlled height. On a more standardized height compared to normal washers. And like M5 screws I can get in the hardware store, that's not a big deal. But shims are a little bit more difficult to get. So I actually ran out of shims for my V0 build, which was a bit annoying. Because there were changes or like very late changes to the V0.2. So the early V0.2 kits shipped with 2 little MM3 shims, which was a bit annoyance. Because I thought I lost one. Like I was short one. And I thought I lost it. I was searching everywhere for this like M3 shim. And it was just nowhere to be found. So. And that goes on top. Yep. And those screw directly into plastic. I mean, like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, they don't hold any weight. Yep. That's 2. While we are at it, right? Let's also do the top ones. Oops. These are other ones. Okay. These are M5x40. Okay, we've seen those. And then here's just shim, bearing, bearing, shim, shim, bearing, bearing, shim. Okay, that's easy. So, I lost all my M520s. So, yes, M5x40 we have exactly 4 left. So that's the end of M5x40. Then, it's 2 parts. They just snap it together. No, here we don't screw it to plastic. Okay. Put them in. Then we set shim. Yes. Seconds. By the way, well, I have them in my hand right now. I wondered. That's from the Ender. I wonder whether they're the same or not. They're not. One, like the Ender one, is taller than the one from Switchwire. But like the diameter is exactly identical. Yeah, okay. I was wondering about that for some time. Shim, bearing, bearing, shim, shim, bearing, bearing, shim. Next one. Shim, bearing, bearing, shim, shim, bearing, bearing, shim. It's nice that they click into each other a little bit. It secures the stack a little bit. Lucky I have some M5 X30s left over from the Trine builds. Yeah, that's good. I also have my spare parts from the V0 build, and I will need to use some of those for sure. At least like the heat inserts, because I am out of M3 heat inserts already, and I'm now stealing the one from the stealth burner, but I will need the stealth burner ones for stealth burner, of course. So I'll definitely have to order some. But yeah, that was also like my thing because, or like my concern, because I ordered a fastener kit for this Ender to Switchwire conversion, and I was 100% certain that it would miss things, and it's missing things. I think they put it together for the revision 1 of this conversion, but not for the revision 2. And the revision 2 has all those like extensions here in the front, and I think they do not consider them in the part count. And they use a shitload of screws, but also the heated inserts. So that's why I'm out, most likely. But I was aware of that, or kind of I expected it in a certain sense. But then my thinking was I have a lot of like hardware just laying around. Oh, they were like, I had some M5 by 30s still. Like I all the Ender screws, when I took it apart, are here. So yeah, I kind of expected it to not have everything I need. Also go back. And we can go up here. Okay, let's put them up. So those are easy to mount. We just need 4 of those. These are tricky to mount. As I just mentioned like seconds ago, I'm not having all the screws in the kit. And what I definitely don't have is M5 by 10, because I used up all the M5 by 10s. Meaning those we can like push on, but we can't mount them at the moment. Ooh, that was close. So push those in here. They go like this. Oh, I'm constantly using the wrong Allen key, and then I'm wondering why that, like the screw doesn't grab. I wonder why. I guess we just align them to the side. Actually, I have to check this part. Like you see how it's like it's not properly black, like there's like some white. I printed it too close to the bed, some of them, and these are like ABS stress marks from when I ripped it off the bed. So I just have to hit it with a hair dryer just to like heat the ABS up a little bit to release the stress in the material. And then they will be nice and black. Okay, this goes in this direction. So top idlers are installed. I think these go in like that. Right. Oh, it's the straight side inside. Okay. And then what did I use here in front? Oh, I think we massively screwed up. There's no way for us to install this M5 through here. Well, fuck. That did not work out. Hi, Alex. Hi, Sumit. That did not work out. So right now, there's for me no way to install the M5 screw on the back. We should have done that before installing the gantry. So these are in the wrong spots. So this one goes on this side, and this one goes on that side. And then we have to take off the X. That sucks, but I guess there's no way around that. Yeah, okay. Sorry to disappoint Alex and Sumit, but I think I would use it as a cutoff point. So basically, what we accomplished is the linear rails. I mean, I can kind of zoom out quickly. So we have the linear rails installed. We battled the problem that the rails were not running smoothly, and we had some binding issues towards the bottom. So that's all fixed up. We installed the bed, but only preliminarily. We encountered some issues with the bed. It was a very challenging day, as always. Like, this build is going like really slow. I didn't expect it to take this long. But basically the problem we have is we have exactly this much cable left after the chain. The movement is really great now. Like, I worked this week on the y-axis a bit, like just aligning the rails a bit. Like, the y-axis is really smooth, and the x-axis is also like now really smooth. But this comes at a price of this extrusion not being, like, both sides are not square. Like, they're leaning backward ever so slightly. But I think that's just the end of frame. Like, I don't see how I can fix that. I'll play around with it a little bit most likely this week, but most likely this is just how the frame is. It's just not straight. Yeah, so basically the problem here is this is how much cable we have. Like, I can pull, you see, like there, it's, I'm not pulling on the cable, and it's barely going into the hole here. So what we will do is this yellow part here where the cable chain mounts to, I will make a custom part that has 2 Wago mounts, basically. And then we use the cable from the bed just to the Wago mounts, and then that's it. And then we have a custom run all the way to the electronics where we need it. So that's for next week. And I noticed I missed to print this part here. So it's also like something we need to do next week. But yeah, like this one is cool. We did progress, but it's again like not as fast as I expected. Did you get a kit or were all self-sourced? It's a mix. Like I self-sourced kits. you can say. In the video or like in the live stream description, you will have a full list of all the things I bought for this build. I got a fastener kit, but we noticed already that the fastener kit is incomplete. So basically this is the revision 2 of the Enderwire well, Ender 3 Pro to Switchwire build. This is a revision 2, and I think that the fastener kit is for revision 1. Because it doesn't account most, like, that's my guess what's going on. Like, those extensions here are not part of the revision 1. The revision 1 ends here, basically. The revision 2 has the original Switchwire dimensions, basically. And those, like, extensions use a lot of M3x8 and a lot of M510s and a lot of the heated inserts. And right now I'm running out of M510s, heated inserts, and M3x8s. So I think that the fastener kit is just not for the revision 2, but for the revision 1. I'm currently pulling like those parts from other places. But yeah, that's something to be aware. I saw the Seaboard kit. I don't have it, so I can't really comment on it. It seems to be a really good price. That's one thing I can say. Like, if you check the parts list in my description, I mean, I have two extruders. That's one thing, right? Like, I have two M4 extruders, so it's not 100% comparable to the Seaboard kit. But these two panels, the deck panels and the bottom panel, were 70 euros alone. And with the Seaboard kit, you get the entire enclosure. So for that reason alone, the Seaboard kit would for me be the best way to go, knowing that, for example, the hotend they provide is quite trash. But then I'm using now the same hotend I had on the Ender 3 Pro, which is the MicroSiwss. So if you already have a good Ender 3 hotend, good. I think the Seaboard kit is a solid buy, most likely. I can't speak for the quality, but for like what you get for the price is good. Sounds like a great plan, and even if it's going slowly, great progress. Yeah, I mean, like, step by step, right? And not having the manual is just like you make mistakes. For example, now, right, if I had the manual, I would have known to put on those before putting on the extrusion here. But now I can't fit that M5 screw anymore. So I have to take off the extrusion again. It's like stuff like that, right? It's like another 15 minutes, and then you need to like square it again and everything. So it's like, yeah. That's just like where manual is handy, right? But I mean, overall, it works well so far. Oh, by the way, I'm also ordering a new bed. Like this bed, I'm kicking it out. You see, like, it's absolutely not flat. Like, it's so not flat that I even had I sanded down the sides. And I also have this cork isolation on the bottom, and it's just nasty by now, so I just replaced that. I'm planning to give my Ender 3v2 an update. I mean, it's a cool build, right? So one thing to consider before you buy the Seaboard kit. Consider if it's not cheaper to sell the Ender and buy a Switchwire kit. Because let's say like you sell the Ender for 150 euros or dollars. I kind of like had this calculation like earlier in the stream. If you like, the Switchwire kit is like 750, I think, ish. Most likely you get it cheaper for like 600 on AliExpress or something. So if you get like 150 for your Ender 3, and you buy the kit for, let's say, like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. If you buy the kit for like 750 and you get 150 for your Ender, then you still pay 600. So I guess it's fine. The only thing you need to know is that like the Ender frames are not perfect, right? Like that's like one thing we discovered now here already. So if I put this here. So this is just how the frame is in a certain sense. And you see that's just not 100% square. Like, it's not a lot, right? But if you would have like a high quality Voron frame, this would be square. And it's not me putting it not square, it's on both sides. And it's like, yeah. I mean, there's also like, not it's basically this cut is flush, or like this cut is square or it's not square. If this cut is square, this part is square. It's quite simple. So it's just like what you need to consider, right? Like, it's also like if you would have like a proper Switchwire, you would have a way better heated bed than this Ender thing. Like mine is like most likely a terrible example. But the Switchwire uses the Prusa Mark III bed, which is higher quality than this one. It's also lighter than what you have here, and it's slightly larger what you have here, right? Like this is 235, and the Switchwire technically is 250. So it's like a couple of considerations, but I think it's a fun project. So if you're wanting to build one, go ahead. Like I think the Seaboard kit is a great way to do that. If you think about getting a Switchwire kit, it might be better to go straight to a Trident. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like if you're spending like 700, 800 euros on a Switchwire, then I would rather have like a cheaper Trident kit than this. That's the other thing, right? Like if you spend like a lot of money on a Switchwire, maybe it's just worth stepping it up a notch. I think also Seaboard, was it Seaboard? Who had this like super sale stuff going on AliExpress, where you had like the V0 kits for 250 euros. I think the Trident kits were also like super cheap there. So if you get something like this, then it's also like, even if it's like 350 for the kit and it's like, let's say like 700 for Trident, the Trident has more value for sure than this one. Like this is a fun build. It's a functional nice printer. Like I'm really looking forward to having that. But yeah, it's still like, it's a bed flinger. It has a very limited build area. Like also Trident, right, it's like 250. It's like, I mean, it's not much, but it's still like, it's a bit. I've recently built a V0.2, $300 difference. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a fun build. If you want to keep your end around, go for it. Like, I think it's cool. Like, it's just like, my point is what I'm trying to tell you is like, monetarily, it's maybe not the best value for money in the end, right? Because you have the Ender and everything. But yeah, it's a cool printer. I'm really looking forward to having this. And for me personally, why I did that is this is my first printer, and I don't have space for 3. And if I have like a, let's say like I would have gotten a Trident, then I wouldn't have kept the Ender 3. So for me, it's more like keeping my first printer, and like the printer grows with me in a certain sense. So that's kind of like my thing. Modbot built a Seaboard Trident. I think he's still doing it, right? Like that's the current. Oh no, he's. I lost track. I lost track what he's doing at the moment. He built a 2.4. I think this is done, right? Are you completely enclosing this? No, this will stay open. This won't be enclosed. So, monetarily, like when I ordered the parts, the Seaboard kit wasn't available. I think it's like a thing since like 2-3 weeks. I bought the parts in June, I think. And like these two top panels and the bottom panel were already 60 euros. And if I would have gotten all the panels, I didn't even like add it to the thing, but it's like a custom. I think they're like, they were like panel kits on AliExpress, but like they were like extremely expensive, like 250 euros with shipping. Those were like custom made. I ordered them at the local company, and those were like 60 euros together. But if I would have gotten this all at a local company, like I also would have paid like 150, 200 euros for the enclosure. And I don't need an enclosure on this one. If I want to print ABS, it's usually like printer parts, and they all go on the V0. So this one is just for fun, basically. This one will have the perk of having dual extrusion. And I am planning, like where this will live is actually inside the cabinet, so I can close the cabinet, technically. He's making it, yeah, okay. Modbot currently project is a Seaboard Trident. Oh yeah, so the 2.4 is done, and the Trident is yeah, okay. Man, so many printers. I'm losing track. And Steve is doing the 0.0 to 0.2 upgrades. And Nero is playing around with his Mark IV. Cool. yeah, I'm really like, I like that it's coming together. Like now, you know, it starts looking like a printer. It has moving parts. I think like the motion system, like minus the belts, is complete, which is already cool. And yeah, I guess then I would wrap it up here. Still have to grab some dinner. I'm a very food-driven person, and when I'm getting hungry, I get hungry. The same thing last week. Cool. Thank you all for dropping by, and yeah, see you next week, same time. And then we will continue with all the things we did not finish up today. Cool. See you.